Hey, good evening. Welcome back. 24th of December. It's a Thursday and it's a Christmas Eve. So we're all getting set for the Christmas. I just finished adding a final bit of touches to my Christmas decoration at home. Added few more lights, a couple of floors. So it's all set up and it's all bright and shiny outside. So coming to the point, I told yesterday that I want to come back and talk about a couple more topics that I kind of like experienced over the weekend when we were out on a trip to Sringeri, Hornadu, and Chikmagalur. So one of the points which I wanted to talk about is this thing regarding the case of mistaken identity. Now, why this topic is because it's kind of a situation wherein you think that the person whom you are seeing, okay, need not be conversing or communicating anything with, is from a particular, say, like a region or a particular type or anything. Like you see a certain person, you feel that they are a North Indian. You see a certain person, you see that you feel that they might be Tamilians or whatever. But it eventually turns out that they are something else. Now I'll give you three incidents that happened, but let me give you a good, quick context about what used to happen in past. I don't know if I've not experienced it much of late, but I think this year I've not even gone much outside, so this has been less. But in past, whenever I used to go to a shop or hotel or anywhere, people used to automatically talk to me in Hindi, even Kannadigas, even the localites. I mean, especially the watchman, the security guy, or say the salesperson at a showroom or whatever. They used to automatically talk to me in Hindi, thinking that I'm a North Indian. I have no idea why. I don't look like one. I don't behave like one. I don't talk like one. But they used to talk like. Then accidentally, like I won't say accidentally. When I say like talk or respond something in Kannada, they used to come back and like, okay, this guy is a Kannadiga, let us talk to them in Kannada, like that. So that used to happen a lot. When I say a lot, it used to happen a lot in the past. Of late, I have not observed it much, and I don't recall also, but this is some context that I wanted to give. Now, back to my point about what I experienced over the weekend. First of all, it was on, I think, Friday. We were on the way to Hornado, and it was the breakfast point. And just behind our table was a family of I think 6 or 7, where like there was a couple with two small kids sitting, and they were having their breakfast. And this lady was wearing all swanky modern sweatshirt and tight denims and all those things. She had all dressed up like modern city lady. I mean, that's a outright perspective that I got. And it was like a nice, fancy, and I would say very modern looking sweatshirt. And this is not something which you generally see. I would say like aged people wear, or people who are not residents of city wear it. But there was one point wherein she started talking to her kid, and she spoke in Kannada. And that Kannada was so typical, kind of like a rural or a very colloquial Kannada. I was just taken by surprise, like, okay, this definitely doesn't look like she is from city. Definitely, she is not a native of Bangalore. Though she is a Kannadiga, she is not a native of Bangalore. And it's very evident from the kind of tone or language in which she is speaking. But if she had not spoken Kannada, it was very unlikely that anyone would have figured out that she's a non-city resident. Okay, so it was so young. She was like, I wouldn't say she was young or anyone, but she was like, first time somebody sees her, they'll think that she's from like some city like Bangalore or something like that. But she definitely, the language in which she spoke doesn't look like. I'm not telling it was bad, but there was nothing bad in the way she spoke. But again, you can't relate the way she looked like, the way she was dressed up, which was very good, and the way she spoke didn't go along well. That's the funny thing. That's the way I told like the case of mistaken identity. Second incident happened, I think, when we went to Sringeri temple in the morning on Saturday. We just entered the temple premises, the main quadrangle, and in the very beginning we saw the two temple elephants, and there were like a group of 3 or 4, and there were like two girls. One of the girls was posing in front of the elephant, another girl was taking her photo, and the way they had dressed up and the type of hairdress and all those stuff they had done, and the way they look like also, and the way they look like, and at the outright it looked like they are 100% North Indian people. They are not from South, definitely not Kannadigas and all, because they look like that. Okay, the way they had dressed up, it's typically, I mean, at least I have not seen um, a non-Bangalore Kannadigas dress up like that. Now that's where I'm coming from. So I saw them, I was like, okay, fine, I just went past. And when we entered the temple, the actual temple premises, they just entered right in front of us, and they started talking in Kannada. That was first surprise to me. And the Kannada in which they were talking was a very typical North Karnataka Kannada. It's not even like a very common city Bangalore Kannada. It was a pure North Karnataka Kannada, and I was again shocked. The way they look and the way they were talking was not at all relatable. You can't even imagine, like, if you had not seen them and if you had heard them talk, you would have feel like, okay, some North Karnataka girls are speaking. And if you see them and if you don't hear them, you'll feel like, okay, some North Indian girls. But when you see and when you hear them, it was like, okay, what's happening here? It was like so irrelatable. This was second incident. The third incident happened on, I think, Saturday night itself, Saturday and Sunday morning, when we went to the resort, Eagle Resort in Chikmagalur, and there was like a big family that had come down, and it was like a mixed age group family. I think they had come down for a weekend outing or something like that. That family had three girls in that, and all these three girls, again, it's a case of how you dress up and how you portray yourself to the outside world. All these three girls were in shorts, mini shorts, I would say, and colored hair and glasses, and probably I would say excessive makeup and uh, fancy glasses and all those stuff. Even the dress, the way they were wearing the dress, it was very evident that it's not a typical non-Bangalore or non-city residing Kannadiga. Saw them and we were like, okay, fine. Again, the mistaken identity was like some North Indian girls who have come there with their family. But in the evening, like in the night when we went for dinner, then we saw them along with this group, which predominantly looked like they were South Indian people. So I was like, okay, fine. Night, actually, when we went indoor to the restaurant to have our dinner, then they started speaking, and they were speaking Kannada. Again, that's where I got more surprised. The way people look, the way people dress up, the way people portray themselves intentionally, I would say, to the outside world is definitely not what they are. Whether they're doing it intentionally, whether they're doing unintentionally, or whether it's my own case of I'm misunderstanding or like assuming that somebody who dresses like this should be from that region, or it should they, or people from villages or people from non-Bangalore should not dress up. I'm not telling like that, but it's so obvious that when you see somebody in a certain avatar or in a certain look, and then when you realize that what you're assuming them to be is not what they are, that's where it becomes, I would probably say, funny. Because in all these three incidents, I actually went back to my wife and I told her that, okay, I actually misunderstood that they are not from what we are thinking that they are, or like where they are from, they don't look like that. Okay, that's how they are dressed up themselves as. So this is exactly that one point that I want to talk about. I thought I'll talk about two things today, but maybe the second point, second topic, I would postpone it for tomorrow. That would give me one more thing to talk about. So that's pretty much for it today. I'll probably catch you back tomorrow and give an update on how the Christmas was and how the Christmas Eve celebration was and all those stuff. Nothing really that we'll celebrate, but again, there are gifts for my kid, which my sister has sent across. Probably will be opening that tomorrow, but she'll be getting dressed up in her Christmas Eve attire sometime from now after her dinner. So that's tiny things that we will do. So that's it for today's journal. I'll see you back tomorrow on the Christmas day. Thank you so much. Take care and bye bye.